Long before the days of sparkling vampires, but long after the days of Bela Lugosi and Lon Chaney, we had a lesser-known vampire icon that smeared blood all over the home video scene. Oh yeah, I'm talking about Radu, played by Honest Hove, and his starring role in the low-budget vampire series from Full Moon, Subspecies. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of Subspecies 5, Blood Rise. But before we get started, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Now let's get into it. Now, the Subspecies series had kind of a less than stellar opening back in 1991, saddled with a rather boring plot about girls vacationing in Romania before they get attacked by Radu. It also featured a pretty bland cast that was 100% carried by Hove's intimidating performance as Radu, with surprisingly effective makeup and special effects for a low-budget 90s film. And between his physical performance and the unsettling way that he hisses through his lines, he really is a vampire icon. The next two were much better in my opinion, with Radu sticking around for more terror and getting even more development with his demon mother and slight hints of his backstory. I also enjoyed the larger role for Kevin Spirtas as Mel, along with his striking up a romance with Melanie Shatner's Rebecca, who both have a fair amount of chemistry together. I also appreciated the decision to replace Michelle's actress, Laura May Tate, with the far more intense and emotive Denice Duff, who has incredible chemistry with Radu even when she's doing everything in her power to resist him.
She's good. She's very good.
Watching Denice's character go through her journey in Subspecies 2 and 3, from damsel in distress to reluctant vampire apprentice to straight up hero, was actually really awesome. And funny enough, I actually had the opportunity to talk to Denice Duff about these movies in person. Her insight into the inner struggles of her character and how she approached her character's unquenchable bloodthirst as kind of like a drug addiction.
Let me help you. Nothing can help me now.
Really just added that much more layers to the whole thing and made me appreciate her performance even more. And the practical effects and makeup from those movies combined with the on-location shooting in Romania really just adds a lot of production value to this low-budget film.
This some serious gourmet shit.
And having only watched all of these movies recently, minus the spin-off Vampire Journals and the fourth, which I couldn't really find anywhere in good quality, I found a love for this franchise, leaving me very excited when I heard about another one coming out 30 years after the original.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening!
Written and directed by series mainstay Ted Nicolau off a script that he wrote over 20 years ago.
Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
Subspecies 5, Blood Rise, is a prequel, giving us the full story of Honest Hove's Radu, chronicling his journey from human crusader to evil, ugly, and seductive vampire. The film spans over 5 centuries as we start with Radu's birth at the hands of his vampire father Vladislas, played by a legacy cast member Kevin Spirtas, with some great makeup and an intimidating presence in his brief role, and his demon sorceress mother Circe. No, not that Cersei, played by Julia Grod, whom we see in a much older and decomposed version in the other movies.
You're ugly!
You are.
After Radu is born, he's taken by crusaders who cut off his claws, clip his ears, and raise him for their cause, leading to his joining the Knights of the Dragon, slayers of ancient ones. Radu is given the Sword of Laertes and given the godly mission to help cleanse the earth of all evil, becoming Radu the Fearless. That leads him and his fellow knights to the cave of Vladislas and Circe.
What is your name, Crusader?
To find the Bloodstone, an ancient relic that contains the blood of the saints. But when he finds a woman named Helena and her son Stefan, Subspecies fans, that name may sound familiar, played by Yakov Marjanovic, sorry if I mispronounced that, Radu's own heritage keeps him from killing them, and he decides to rescue them instead. Oh, and I should probably mention that Helena is played by another legacy cast member, Michelle herself, Denice Duff. Anyway, after a few failed seduction attempts on behalf of Helena,
you must never leave me, Radu.
She finally grows impatient and has Radu drink from the bloodstone, and she bites him. Now that's pretty much all the trailer gives away, so I won't say much more, but from there the film gives us the next few hundred years of Radu's eternity as a vampire, with him pining over his master Helena and attempting to find new victims to turn into fledglings. Alright, so coming at this as an outsider who really only recently saw the first 3 movies like in the last few weeks, I can honestly say that this might be my favorite in the series.
No shit!
And it's definitely one of the best things that Full Moon has ever put out. Yeah, even better than Evil Bong. The story, while unnecessary as most prequels are, gets a surprising amount of mileage out of Radu's origins, filling in enough of the blanks to add to your enjoyment of the other films, while offering more action and violence than the last two, injecting this movie with plenty of excitement and terror while fleshing out the lore in this universe even more. I've already mentioned the cast here, and everyone really brings it. Yes, some of the dialogue is a little melodramatic, but between Hove's Radu and his growling intensity, the full-on creep factor that Michael Spirtas' Vladislas and Julia Grod's Circe bring to the table, and the completely mesmerizing performance from a villainous Denice Duff, the cast here sells everything and really drew me into the story.
I'm hooked.
Hove starts the film in uncharted territory for Radu, being a sympathetic and tragic character that is ultimately punished for his good deeds. something that definitely hasn't been shown in the other movies. And as the movie goes on and he gets closer and closer to the monster that we saw in the first Subspecies, he slips right back into his role of sadistic yet seductive vampire master. And by the end, I felt like this was the most fleshed out and well written the character has ever been. The same goes for Denice Duff's Helena, the other standout in this film. Instead of the mortified, vulnerable addict portrayed in the other Subspecies films with Michelle, Helena is essentially a siren for Radu, using her beauty and seduction to lure him in before turning him into a vampire. Duff absolutely revels in this role, showing a side of her that we haven't really seen before, stepping away from the damsel and diving head first into this self-serving temptress that works her way into Radu's mind and leaves him completely enamored by her. And I really thought she stole every scene she was in. There's more to love here than just the cast, however. One of the best parts of all of these movies that truly ups the production value, no matter how low the budget is the fact that they shoot on location.
Location, location, location.
Where the first few were shot in Romania, this one was shot in Serbia last year, and the authentic Gothic catacombs, mountains, and ancient castles just elevate this even more, especially when combined with the great performances, costumes, stellar makeup, especially on Hove, Spirtas, and Grot, and surprisingly strong origin story for Radu. And with that comes the amazing cinematography done by Vladimir Ilrik that puts us right in the middle of these centuries-old locations while maintaining the dreary yet beautiful aesthetic of this series. Though I really loved and respected this movie and the intense dedicated cast and crew, unfortunately I wouldn't be true to myself or this review if I didn't have a few small complaints.
Guy.
Unfortunately, regardless of how well they do, there still is a bit to be desired with the low budget, like the fact that there really isn't a whole lot of gore to be found here, mostly just blood. But that is a vampire movie, so it makes sense. And some of the action feels just a little stilted, like they weren't exactly sure how to choreograph it or edit it together. Especially one scene that has Radu stabbing something with his sword off screen that looks like they just reused the same shot about 6 times. And even with all of that, this still has probably the highest production value that I've seen out of Full Moon. And my last small complaint is that this film is only about an hour and 15 minutes minus the credits, and the ending did feel a little bit rushed to the point where I was actually surprised when the credits came up.
It's over.
Over.
But is that really that much of a complaint? After all, that means I just wanted more. And thankfully, with where the story is left up, there's still plenty of time between the end of this and the beginning of the first Subspecies, so we might even see more. Overall, Full Moon's return to the Subspecies series is a triumphant one, sure to please any fans of vampires or this series, even newbies like myself. As of now, this movie has a limited release in Alamo Drafthouse Cinemas, but will be releasing on June 2nd on Screambox and Full Moon streaming service, if you want to check it out. And I definitely recommend that you do. And that's my review of Subspecies 5 Blood Rise, a truly great return to what is probably Full Moon's best series, with all of the charm, love, and dedication that made audiences at home embrace Radu and Michelle all those years ago. Thanks for watching, everyone, and if you like this video, please leave a like, comment below with your thoughts, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever I post again. You can also find the links to my socials in the description below, and while you're at it, you can click right here to check out my review of Fast X, or just go to my channel where you can check out my reviews, my shorts, and my old shit. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time for my review of The Little Mermaid.